Well, hello and welcome. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. Welcome to the Heal It Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how to have more balance in your life. Wouldn't that be nice? Sometimes you ever feel out of balance, overwhelmed, stressed out, feeling like you're working too much, feeling like you're giving too much, feeling like you just don't know what to do to get out of that pattern, right? Some of you are like going, yeah, I'm feeling worn out, stressed out. I'm ready to do something different in my life. Okay, well, this is the right show, right? This is the show that's going to help you to set some clear intentions, to get purposeful about what you can have in your life. And, sometimes we get so out of balance, we feel like we're kind of victims of life. Just things are happening to us all the time, and we feel like we're no longer in charge. You ever feel like that? Well, the truth is we've made choices along the way that have created this overwhelm, this out of balance feeling. And today's all about maybe getting back to the basics, right? What are the basics? Well, maybe feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually alignment with oneself, right? Maybe it's a place where you feel, you get back to doing things that you really love. You get back to doing things maybe you don't like so much. Maybe you don't like to exercise. Maybe you don't like to eat foods that are like healthy for you, but you should, right? And maybe you're in a place where you're like, I like things better and I'm ready to do it. Okay. That's where you really need to be. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to do it no matter what, because you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, right? You just are done. And what a great time to start that, right? We're still got time between now and the end of the year. Imagine how you could be between now and the end of the year, next 3 months, if you really said, I'm going to get my life back in balance. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it no matter what. Well, one of the ways we do this, right, is get clear with your why, right? Why am I doing this, right? What's the purpose that's going to get you to the next level? One of my other shows, I had a fellow on that's just the process of losing 150 pounds. I think he's lost 50 of them already. And I said, what's your purpose? He says, well, I want to be there for my kids, my grandkids. I said, well, that's a strong enough purpose. You got it. So get clear with what your purpose is, right? And then clarify your priorities, right? You got to make balance a priority. If you don't, you'll be out of balance. It's that simple. So you got to prioritize it, right? You can do this. We all have the same amount of time in the day. If you all of a sudden you're in a place where I don't have any time in the day, well, that's on you, okay? Because you're the one creating your life, not me, not somebody outside yourself. You're making those choices. So and sometimes we don't feel that way. We feel like it's black or white. I have to do this or this is going to happen. But if you start to ask yourself powerful questions like, well, what's the third choice? What's the fourth choice? What is it if I didn't have this situation, I could step back. What are the ways that I can move myself into more balance, more harmony, more peace? Okay. So you can start to ask. And if you stay in the question long enough, I guarantee you will get the answer. One of my greatest, I love the teachings of Jesus. One of his teachings is no stone will be left unturned. I love that. Why? Because I know that if you seek, right, you will find. Right? If you ask, you will receive. Those aren't my words. Those are from the Bible, right? It's what Jesus taught us, right? They're not idle words. They really work if you'll apply them. Okay. All right, listen, I got a really powerful guest today coming on the show. We're going to be taking a deep dive into balance. So what I'm going to do is take a quick break, and then I will be back with my guest.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance, plus stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the Deluxe Bundle. Get the faster motor or 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Kennedy Foster, and I have my very special guest, Kathie Robinson. Kathie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I was thinking about it, balance. Most people are kind of in balance when they're younger, but there's this midlife thing that happens. So I really want to take a deep dive with you on that. But before we do, I'd like to introduce Kathie to my audience. Kathie Robinson is a functional lifestyle and integrative health coach. She's a passionate advocate for women's health. After overcoming her own challenges with infertility, hormone balance, and hysterectomy, she discovered the power of food fasting and lifestyle changes to restore vitality. Now at 58, she feels healthier than she did in her 30s and has dedicated her life to helping women in midlife reclaim their energy, balance, and hormones and feel confident again. Through her coaching programs and community, Kathie has guided countless women to lose weight, sleep better, thrive with simple and sustainable strategies, which we will be talking about today.
Excellent.
So your path, was, your personal journey. What happened with you? How'd you get on this path here?
Well, the intro was great, and it was just trying to balance my hormones, which for many women, we go through a time where we don't feel like ourselves. We're like, what is causing this? And a lot of it has to the big experience of weight gain and fatigue and mood swings and brain fog and all the things that women start to feel when we don't feel like ourselves anymore is the shift from our hormones and blood sugar. So if our blood sugar is out of balance, one, it creates inflammation in our body, and it throws everything off. So we are completely cattywampus, and it affects everything. Sleep, irritability. That is the number one complaint for women that are going through menopause is irritability, that mental and emotional change that we go through. And then everything is just downstream effects.
Well, that downstream effect affects everybody, right? Because, most women, have families.
Yes. Men are like, what happened?
And in their lives. And we're like, what's going on? What's this fatigue my wife is or my mother or my daughter is feeling? What's the mood swings? Why do they have brain fog? What's going on? Why
can't they remember this one thing that we do all the time? Or your kids say to you, why is mommy so grumpy?
Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone's affected by it. And especially, and then the woman feels like, what's wrong with me? Like, it's almost, I remember the stages. It's like, I feel like I unzipped my head and like this monster popped out. Yeah. And I had no control over it.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
It's amazing how hormones and, impact our emotions, impact our mindsets. It's amazing, actually.
Well, you think? Yeah. And especially when you compare men to women, women are from Mars, men are from Venus kind of thing, right? Yeah. But we have estrogen, we have progesterone, we have testosterone, we have oxytocin. We have so many, insulin is a hormone as well. So just think when that becomes dysregulated, how it affects all the other hormones.
Well, I wouldn't bring this up, but I mean, men are men and women are women. You just made a good point for that. I mean, we've got this discussion in our country that, men can be women and women can be men, and at the hormone level and at the DNA level, that's not true. Right. So that's just my point of view. Yeah. So, um, all right. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk about, okay, so you got your hormones out of balance, you're going, you got all this stuff. What is the solution here? Let's start on that path here.
So let's talk about blood sugar.
Okay.
When you think about, let's talk, one, we think about nature. We think about nature's foods. Nature's foods are natural. What are we surrounded by when we walk into the grocery store? Everything is processed, either in a bag or it's in a box. It's got some sort of chemical. It's got some preservative in it. All those things are going to throw off our blood sugar because a lot of them have sugar in them, right? The reason why the manufacturers make it that way is because they want you to keep buying it. They want to get you hooked. So when our blood sugar becomes dysregulated, it impacts everything. And it impacts our energy, it impacts our cravings, our mood, our weight, and our sleep. And then we're completely derailed. And what benefit is that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, food is, pretty much any food can change your chemistry. Okay?
Yes.
And it does, right? And, the more sensitive we become to that, the better in my world, right? Because
100%.
If you're in a place where you just, the way I bring balance in my eating is it's funny, I'll eat something, it tastes so good. And then at some point it stops tasting so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I know I need to just stop eating it, right? It might be a pie, right? Oh man, this tastes so good. And all of a sudden, I get halfway through and I'm like, I can't hardly even taste the same. It doesn't taste that great. Now I just have that. Other people have other ways that they know, but whatever that is, I think we got to tune into that because that food, what'll happen is what happens when you overeat, Kathie, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you overeat, most people, they just don't know when to stop. They've got these cravings or it's right in front of them and they don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people eat too quickly.
I was just going to say that. I was just thinking about that.
They do not take time to sit down and eat a meal.
Yeah.
They're usually on the go or standing up.
Yeah.
They don't take time to actually smell the aroma of the food to get the enzymes activated in their digestive. Yeah. They don't chew their food. So they're like chew, chew, swallow. Yeah. The only place we have teeth is in our mouth. Our stomach does not have teeth. So how is your stomach going to break all that food down?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how are you going to?
Yeah. How is it? How is it? Well, one of the hacks that I use is that, cause when I'm really hungry, I want to just, eat, right?
Right.
See, the hack that I do is just take a bite and set down my my fork or my spoon. I just set them down and then I chew. Another hack that I use, I pray ahead of time. If I remember to pray, remember to just tune in, get quiet, get still. I'm going to nurture, the body's going to be nurtured by this food, okay? And food is meant to give us energy. So if you're
right.
If you don't feel energized after you eat, you're like, you better.
Right. Think about how many people that get tired after they eat.
Right.
And they're ready to take a nap.
Right.
Another analogy is if we need gas to put in our car in order to drive it, correct? Or we need to charge it. However, we can't drive by the gas station real quick, and put the gas into the tank and then drive off real quick. We won't have enough fuel.
That's right.
To drive our car, to energize our car. Same thing with our bodies. Our bodies need to be hydrated, they need to be nourished, and we need to absorb it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And, it's interesting. I mean, it's like, somebody once told me how to create a Sumitomo wrestler, right? I said, how do you do that? Well, what you do is you eat one meal a day, you eat massive amounts of food, you eat massive amounts of carbs, and after you eat, you go to sleep. And that's what they do. That's how they build these wrestlers, okay? No activity, nothing, right? You just sleep and you start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, it's good to know that. It's also good to know how you build somebody that's like fit and vital and feeling energized and whatnot. And that's what we're talking about today, right? I got to take a quick break. When we come back, a lot of people go into dieting. Dieting fails women a lot over 40. I want to know why that is. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster. I'll be right back with my guest, Kathie Robinson, in 1 second. I want to encourage all of you to go over to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, great. Subscribe. If you're not, go over there and subscribe. That way you'll never miss a show, and you'll be able to pass these shows on to people that you care about and love. So I really encourage you to go do that. Thank you so much. All right, back to my guest, Kathie Robinson, and we are talking about health and fitness and vitality and balance. We're talking about how women can be empowered. All right, let's talk a little bit about the fasting piece and diet, dieting, fasting. Let's talk about that a little bit, Kathie.
Okay. Well, one of the big problems that women find when they start going through midlife is that they really feel like, I can't lose my weight. Like all of a sudden, everything that I used to do, it is not working for me. Like they're like, why? I used to cut calories. I'm exercising. I'm doing all these things, but it's not working. So the approach that I take, I studied under Dr. Mindy Pelz, who wrote Fast Like a Girl, as well as with my functional teachings. But we talk about fasting lifestyle for women. And some people go, oh, fasting, it sounds scary. But the beauty about fasting is that it actually allows your body to heal. And it's when it's done correctly. Because the way that I teach, that I've learned from Mindy, is that we nourish the body in the different stages of our cycle, through the estrogen phase in the first half of our cycle, as well as different foods that support the progesterone stage in the second half of the cycle. And when we do that, we're nourishing and ramping up the body. We're being able to balance out our blood sugar. We're able to support our hormonal health, which is what we want to do. And that's where women are struggling. But we're doing it in a great way. So we know at different types of our cycle, we can fast longer than other times. In our progesterone phase and the back half of our cycle, fasting is not good. That's when it depletes, and that's when women get really off kilter because of that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I sure didn't know that. I bet a lot of my audience doesn't know that. What about, like I practice intermittent fasting, right?
Yes.
And is that what we're talking about here too? That
100%. So like in the first half of the cycle, we could do a 17 to 18 hour fast. So that means we would just have a window of 8 hours for eating. And the beautiful thing about when we do go into that intermittent fasting, one, we're allowing our microbiome to heal more because we're not using all that digestion time. It takes a lot of work for our body to digest our food. Two, we're lowering our blood sugar, which is great. And we also go in at the 17-hour point, we go into a phase called autophagy. And autophagy is when all of the bad, broken cells that are not really serving us get absorbed in by the healthy cells, and then they take them out. They detox them out of our body. So then we're left with.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I've read up on the intermittent fasting and what have you. And, quite frankly, when we were, not too many generations back, we would have like one meal a day. Okay.
Right.
I mean, we didn't need 3 meals a day and the 4 food groups and the massive amounts of everything that you're supposed to take. We didn't have that. Okay.
Right.
Now, some would argue, well, they didn't live as long either. Well, their lifestyle was a lot different than us too. But if you go back further and further in time, into what I would know as the higher ages, people live 800 years, 700 years. I mean, it's, and we're learning more and more about that, right? Okay.
We are. The
Yeah.
whole paleo lifestyle.
Yeah. We've got, what was that book out there called The Blue Zone years ago?
Oh, so
right?
good.
Yeah, it was so good. And, he discussed at that time, 6, I think, blue zones around the world where people were living over 100 years old, which, is a big thing. Well, live a few more years, I believe that the combination of our health breakthroughs, our AI, and people like Kathie who are helping us to understand how the body works, we're going to live a lot longer than we are now,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also about being in community. It's about, and that's where the blue zones really took effect because they had this great community. They're eating whole foods. They don't eat this processed stuff that the Americans are surrounded by.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point for reading labels and understanding, if you read, for me, if there's a label and I don't understand what the name of whatever it's in it. So that's where I use AI now, Kathie. I'll go, okay. And I'll take it grocery shopping with me. What is the what's the name? What is this that I'm putting in? And what are the side effects of this particular chemical? I'll just right in the grocery store because that happens a lot for me when it's something I really want. It's like maybe sugary. I got better read up on this.
I will share with your people, with your community. I have a whole page just on how to read a nutrition label.
Oh,
that way they can feel empowered when they go to the store.
Okay, where do they get that at?
I will send it to you and you can put it in the notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, people. Well, you're gonna have to connect with me then over on Ken at kendfoster.com. You're gonna have to subscribe so that I can send that to you. Ken at kendfoster.com.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. One other thing I want to caution everybody, and maybe you know this, I don't encourage people to do intermittent fasting or any kind of fasting without somebody like Kathie guiding you, okay, or your MD. So, that's really important for my audience, especially if you're brand new to it. You can really whack yourself up if you don't know what you're doing.
And that's what happened to a lot of women because when keto first came into play, everyone was doing it, right?
Right.
Problem is that women can't keto because we have hormones and we need to support those hormones. So it's all about following a nutrition guidance during those different phases of our cycle to support them so we don't crash and burn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that. Women can't keto.
They can't. Women in postmenopause can probably keto, but women when they're going through midlife and their hormones are adjusting, no way. And the other thing too is as when women estrogen starts to drop, our estrogen is like our power. And when our estrogen starts to drop, our blood sugar levels go up. So when our blood sugar levels go up, everything gets imbalanced. So it's so key to keep that blood sugar in balance.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the ways you do that, of course, is you get your blood tested. So where you
want to have an A1C of 5.0 or less. Yeah. So anything, and the unfortunate part is today, and when you go to the doctor, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're fine," because their range is wide. Yeah. My range is narrow.
Yeah,
because I want people to feel optimally well.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like get to the point where they're now type 2 diabetes. And if you are type 2, you can still reduce everything down. Everything is possible because our body is innate and it knows how to heal. We just have to give it that space.
Absolutely. And, I can't tell you how many practitioners have come on this show, MDs, practitioners, that come on and they've healed so many from people from type 2 diabetes. I mean, it's not something that, it's hard. Okay. It's not easy. All right. But, staying with type 2 diabetes is also hard. So you get to make a choice. What hard do you want?
Right. Because type 2 diabetes could quickly lead to cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big issue down the road.
Yeah. And compromised immune system, all kinds of, as you age, if you want all your parts, you probably don't want to have diabetes, right? Yep. You want your parts working and not having arthritis and rheumatism and all kinds of.
It's all inflammatory disease.
All of it.
The way to reduce inflammatory disease is balance out your blood sugar.
Balance out your blood sugar. They're also finding, what bridges the brain blood barrier, what goes in, and how it, how you create inflammation in your brain, right? Which creates Alzheimer's and dementia and everything else. So it all starts with what, Kathie?
Blood sugar. And now instead of type 2 diabetes, now type 3 diabetes is dementia and Alzheimer's.
Oh, they're naming that type 3. I love that.
It's called type 3.
We'll call it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Blood sugar imbalance.
Wow.
Absolutely.
How interesting. Okay. Well, listen, some of you are thinking, okay, they're talking about this good stuff. How do I get some results here? I need results. I need to change. Well, one of the ways that you could do is, of course, reach out to Kathie. By the way, how can they get a hold of you?
So I am on Instagram. I'm under Navigating Midlife with Kathie.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, I'm at Kathie Robinson, Kathie Robinson. And then my website is Kathie Robinson R for restorative, wellness.com.
Okay, say that one more time for my listening audience.
Kathie, Kathie Robinson, R as in restorative, W as in wellness.com.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I encourage my audience, reach out to Kathie, and find out what she has to say. Listen, I don't know anybody that has enough information, enough willpower, enough to do it on your own. I just don't. Okay. I mean, if you want to change something that's chronic, that's been going on for a while, you could pretend like, oh yeah, I could do it myself. That's all made up. You get a health coach, get a life coach, get a MD, get a naturopath, get a nurse practitioner, get somebody that has expertise in what you do, and you don't have to look any further because you go find Kathie real quick. All right, listen, I got to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about your getting results, and also I want to talk about your 14-week Take Your Life Back program. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone watching at home. We're here to remind you that if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have live agents available right now to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Gina Bellich, here with spokesman and TV personality Tom Mustin with us in the Help Center. So Tom, phones are really busy over there. Tell us what kind of calls you're seeing.
Well, Gina, first off, thank you for having me here in the call center with you. We always enjoy talking to the viewers and getting folks the compensation that they deserve. We're seeing calls about all kinds of accidents, but the most common by far has been car accidents. So if you or someone you know were injured in an accident that was not your fault, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live person. They'll answer any questions you have and tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth.
Thanks, Tom. All right, folks at home, you heard it. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here. Did you know that I wear hearing aids? I love my hearing aids, and I am here to help you get a deal on the same brand I wear.
Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get MD Hearing's revolutionary Neo hearing aids for just $297 a pair. The Neo is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. with rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. And you can get 2 Neo hearing aids with a 45-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and free lifetime US-based support for only $297. The Neo is nearly invisible with its tiny in-the-ear canal design.
Call my friends at MD Hearing and get the over-the-counter hearing aids that I use for you.
Call now and get not 1 but 2 Neo hearing aids for just $297.
800-789-7885. Again, that's 800-789-7885.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Ken D. Foster, and before I get back to my guest, Kathie Robinson, I want to tell you about my book. It's called The Courage to Change Everything, Daily Strategies and Essential Wisdom to Awaken Your Inner Genius. I wrote this book for individuals like you that are really ready. They're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're ready to upshift their life in many different ways, and they needed something supportive for them to be able to do that. So I wrote it in such a way that it's a 1-page-a-day read. It's simple. There's some wisdom in there. There's some strategies in there, and more important, there's inspiration maybe than all of it to keep you inspired, moving towards your dreams, moving towards your goals. So I hope you'll pick it up at couragetochange.us, couragetochange.us. Thanks. All right, Kathie, we are back, and proven programs and results, and then we'll talk about your program. Go ahead.
Wonderful. Okay, so I have a 14-week program that I offer. It's called Take Your Life Back, because we are in charge of our own health and wellness, right? And this is where all the true transformations begin, because women will then experience getting their body into balance, working. The biggest one is reducing stress, because we can nail our diet, but if we don't nail our stress response, you'll still be in the dance. So that is the first thing that we approach, is stress. Then we start working on the food, and we start reducing our hot flashes, our better sleep, and we have great restored energy. And I'm going to share with you, I worked with a client that came to me, and she was seeing a naturopath at the time. And the naturopath, it's back when GLP-1s first came out onto the market. And the naturopath was in a doctor's office. And she said, I really think maybe we should try GLP-1 with you. And she had been seeing her for over a year. When she came to me, she was on 15 different types of supplements. And I was like, let's just clear the slate, because if supplements are just like medication, it's just like throwing Band-Aids on everything, trying to make something work. And our body is just like, it's trying to absorb everything, and it's a challenge. So we eliminated that. We started shifting her body, reducing her stress levels, changing how the way she exercised and doing more restorative health and exercise, changing her diet, using intermittent fasting. And within 6 weeks, she lost 24 pounds. And so she is a hairdresser, standing on her feet all day doing hair. And her legs were always swollen. She had hot flashes. She couldn't sleep. She had cravings. She was her body was inflamed.
Yeah.
So we took that inflammation away, and we allowed her body to have space to start naturally healing.
That's beautiful. I mean, she would have lost her career at some point because
her knees couldn't handle standing anymore.
Right. Yeah. Or then she would have gone down maybe the medical road where, now they're going to do knee replacement, now hip replacement, now it's more medication, more injections, whatever, to try to keep her out of pain.
Right. Right. And the approach that we need to take, we can't be cavalier about our health. We need to be strategic, because this is the latter third part of our life, when we're going into menopause, and we want to live our best life. We don't want to be saying, oh, let me see how I'm going to feel in 6 months or a year. No, we want to see how we're going to feel 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Yeah. I'm a mom of twins. I have twins that are that are juniors in high school. I'm not ending my life early. I've got a life to live with these kiddos. And so I told them, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be around for a long time because we've got a big life ahead of us. Not missing out.
You got a big hot life, and you got grandchildren. You got, their children. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe grandchildren and great grandchildren someday.
Exactly.
And see, here's the cool thing. That's a possibility. It's not assured, but it's a possibility if you take care of yourself. Okay. And there's no, some people think I'm too old, too fat, too out of shape. I've got this disease, chronic disease. Listen, you start where you are. Kathie can help you that. Kathie, let me ask you something now. One-on-one is great, but sometimes, my experience, I've been a life coach for 30 years and I've taught a lot of classes.
Mm-hmm.
My experience has been one-on-one works for some, but group really works, better for others because they got that community piece.
I could not agree more with you.
Yeah.
Community is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Because one, they're building relationships with other people that are like-minded, that are in the same space that they're in, and they help lift each other up in the process. Because what one person may feel, the other person may be feeling that also, and they wouldn't know that unless they were in a group space.
Yeah.
Well,
there's something about group too. I think it was Lynn McTaggart wrote a book called The Power of Eight. And in there, she researched for large groups, small groups. And she found that when people come together in group, you get your results are amplified, right?
Right.
And when you, but here's the other part. If you want to not only amplify them, but quadruple them or higher, what happens is people come into group, and I started doing this in my groups. Everybody holds intention for each other in the group and sees them as healing in the group. Isn't that powerful? And you probably do that in your groups,
The interconnectedness of one another, it's just, and the relationships that you build. And the best hormone that comes out of that is oxytocin. Because oxytocin is just like, oh my God, it fills your soul. It's like the biggest hug ever.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I love about it too? It's like, everybody has a healer within themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kathie's not the healer. Ken's not the healer, right? We're not healing you. We're not doing, you are doing this with God within you and understanding, how to set re-intention, how to educate, the education you need, what you need so that you can realign with that. I guess I call it heaven on earth. Inside here is this heaven on earth. Mm-hmm. And when I realign with that, man, everything's possible, right? This is what we're talking about here with healing. You can feel a sense of peace, a sense of joy, no stress. I mean, you really live stress-free if you understand the principles that I'm teaching, Kathie's teaching. It works. We are the result of that. I'm gonna say one last thing. I looked up yesterday. What's the average lifespan for a male in the United States? And I was shocked. It was 72.2 years old. Wow. Women are 79. But 72, listen, I've already outlived that. Now, you may not know that, but I've already outlived that. And, that's a sad statistic. And by the way, I think, it's probably for a lot of Americans, at least 25% of Americans, that's going down. Why? It's more than 25. It's probably like 35, 40 now because of the obesity crisis, because of the diabetes crisis, because of the ADHD crisis. It's going down. But we don't have to accept it. We can stop right now. That's the message today.
And that's all based on inflammation, right?
It's all based on inflammation. How do we get rid of the inflammation in the body? And you know what? It's not really how that you, my audience, has to address. What you have to address is where can I find help?
Right.
Because the practitioners have the how. You listen to this show, they have the how. Just like Kathie, she has the how. She can help you do this. but you got to do one thing. You got to find your courage. But how do you find your courage? Courage is not something, it's something everybody has. It's innate. Courage only shows up, only, when you step outside your comfort zone and do something courageous. That's when courage comes in. So it's like, oh, I gotta, what's your website again? I gotta go to Kathie's website. What is it?
Kathie Robinson, R as in restorative, W.com.
Okay. You gotta go, okay, I gotta get on my computer or phone and go over to the website, scroll down and contact Kathie.
Yeah. You can schedule a free 30-minute call and we can just talk about whatever your situation is.
It's free. Okay.
It's free.
Nothing to lose. And courage only shows up when you get on the internet and type in your name. That's when courage shows up. And once it does, then you're on your way. You're on your way. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's technology has just changed so much for us. You know, some people also have the issue of age. You know, I'm too old for this. How do you address that?
Well, I mean, I think that's all mindset. It's where do you want to be? That's the big question is. And it's our hearts are young, our mind's young. If our body feels the way that it does, well, how do we change that? How do we shift that? And where do you want to be? Like someone may think to themselves, you know, I really want to go travel. I want to go do these things. You can do those things. You just have to set your mind to that space.
Yeah.
Create it.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk about like being out of your comfort zone. All I can think of is, I'm sure you've seen the picture of the fish in the fishbowl jumping out of the fishbowl.
Yeah.
That's what I always think. It's like, you know, we've got to take these leaps of faith. Are we here on this earth to just kind of like be and exist? Or are we here to thrive and experience life to its fullest?
Yeah. Well, I'm visualizing that fishbowl next to a lake, and the fish jumps out into the lake, and all of a sudden, wow! Wait, what the heck? I'm out of this tiny confined box, and now I see everything. And we all have the ability to do that. And I will say this, that the way that I jump out of the tiny fishbowl, because I go back in it now and then.
Don't we all?
Is through stillness, right? Stillness is the price of greatness. We have to get still, you know, go into our forest, go out to your backyard, you know, meditate, quiet your mind, still your mind, allow yourself to get out of the heck, turn off the TV, tune out all the distractions and tune in to the heaven that's waiting within you. To get your answers, to get your wisdom, to understand what's going on in your life. Wow, this has been a wonderful, wonderful show. Final thoughts for our audience, Kathie?
Well, I want to encourage everybody to be their best self and to be open for greater things. But they have to lean in, just like what you're talking about. People need to just stop and lean in and hear what their true self is requesting and what they want. And once they do that, they can be whatever they want to be. We're never too old. You know, as long as we're breathing and we're living, let's live our best life and let's live it simply.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I know this, if I were in a place where I was filled with dis-ease, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would personally do whatever it takes. You know, if they gave me 10 days to live, I said, okay, I got 10 more days.
Right.
I'm going to do whatever it takes in those 10 days to make the changes that I need to feel happier, more at peace, more joy in my life. So,
yeah,
we're talking about, but you don't have to wait till the last 10 days of your life. You can do it now.
Right. It reminds me of the movie The Bucket List. Great movie. So it's like, think about that. What do you want to do? They ended up living their greatest life, checking off the bucket list.
That's awesome. I love that. That's a wonderful way to end. My challenge to you is go and create a bucket list if you haven't one already, And if you have one, go and review it and step into the 1 or 2 areas of health that you really want to feel. You're going to have no matter what. All right. Kathie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Ken. It was such gratitude. I really appreciate it. What a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a blessed day. And for all of you, I want to thank you for tuning in and encourage you again to go over to our YouTube channel. If you're not already there, go to youtube.com/@thecourage network to get all of our other shows, plus all of these shows, and be able to pass them on to people and friends that you care about and love. Till next time, you can heal anything. You just got to get on the journey.